Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gridiron across the U.S. We're about 2 days out from the draft now, and this is episode 22. And we're just going to keep it short here and get some of our last-minute takes. So what we're going to do is we each have assembled 3 takes, one about a prospect, one about something that's going to happen in the draft order, and one about how the career about a certain player that we picked out will span out. So, Kevin, how about you get us started?
So as we're recording this, it's Tuesday. I don't know if this will go up on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So we're here for Hot Take Tuesday. The draft is on Thursday. We're ready to go. My first take is a guy that if you've been tuning in throughout the year, you know I'm very high on. And I wanted the Steelers to take for the longest time until we went out and traded for DK Metcalf. So receiver in the first round makes a little less sense. But my take on this prospect is that Emeka Egbuka is the best wide receiver in the class. Now, for some reason, he's dropping to the second round. It's prospect fatigue. The dude is incredible. Like, he's up there with Marvin Harrison Jr. for, like, the top receiver stats at Ohio State. I don't know him off the top of my head. But, I mean, this guy, he can play on the outside. He can play on the slot. He ran out like a 4.4 at the combine. He put up a 9.27 RAS, like, relative athletic score. I don't see what this dude can't do. He's Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's slightly more athletic. He's got great hands. He's got his best abilities is late hands. I saw a TikTok on this, actually. He puts his hands up late, which allows him to run more and track the ball and, kind of throw the DB for a loop trying to make a play. But I think I like Emeka Egbuka over guys like Ted McMillan, Matthew Golden, and Luther Burden. What do you think about that?
I like that take, but going into my take is another wide receiver. I'm going Ted McMillan is not to say the best offensive prospect in the class because a lot of guys will pan out better than him, but I think he's the most complete offensive prospect in the class. He was a longtime starter at Arizona. I think he played all 4 years there, but he's got a real big frame. He's 6'4", and he ran somewhere in the – did he run like a 4.5 or – he ran somewhere in the late 4.4s, 4.5. Yeah, pretty fast for a guy that tall, 6'4", so he can go up and make plays. I was reading an article about him, compared him to Drake London, who has really panned out to be a great receiver, great jump ball guy. And when you have a guy who can win those physical battles, it's going to be a huge boost for the offense that takes him. And what else I like about him as a prospect, he's a smart player. He's incredibly consistent, put up great seasons at Arizona. Never really had a down year, but in the NFL that might happen. It comes with learning there, but I think whatever team is going to take him is going to really love their pick. I could see him going as early as like the top 5, maybe later top 5, if a team really wants to take a shot on who I believe is the best receiver and best offensive player prospect in the class.
I just looked up his 40 time. It was at a pro day, so take that with a grain of salt. But it was a 4.48, so his real time's probably around a mid 4.5.
Still,
I don't know how
tall guy.
What?
Still good for 6'4".
Yeah, I mean, that's true for sure. I just don't know how I feel about him as a prospect. I think his route running could use some work. I think Egbuka is the most well-rounded because I'm the biggest Egbuka glazer. But when you look at his game log, I mean, half of his stats came from 4 games against bottom feeders. He put up 10 catches for 200 yards against West Virginia, 8 catches for 161 against Texas Tech, and then 300 yards against New Mexico. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, what?
Don't sleep on the Lobos.
Like when you look at games against good teams, Arizona State, 68 yards. Colorado, 38 yards. Brigham Young, 78 yards.
Getting more attention.
Utah, 50 yards. So I just don't know how his biggest thing is his production, right? He put up 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. Most of them came in stat padding games. Just saying, I'm not high on that bad. What?
West Virginia and Tech aren't that bad. I mean, New Mexico are pretty bad, but
they're not. My point is he didn't rise to the occasion against the better teams, which is why you know who did? Emeka Egbuka, biggest Emeka Egbuka glazer. I'll move on to my next take, though. We'll move past Egbuka here for a little bit. We're kind of going to move into what we think is a hot take of what will happen in the draft or an opinion we have, because mine is Abdul Carter to the Giants is not the right pick. Now, this is assuming Cam Ward goes 1, which is a lock. Assuming Travis Hunter goes 2 to the Cleveland Browns. I think if Hunter's there at 3, you have to take him. The fit is so much more better than Abdul Carter. You take Carter, you now have 3 edge rushers who are under 250 pounds. What happens when you play a team like the Eagles, who are in your division that you're going to see twice a year? They're just going to run the ball all over you. You have Dexter Lawrence in the middle, but they're just going to run outside a zone when you have Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, who probably is going to get traded if they take him, and Abdul Carter, all of these smaller edge rushers who, they'll get to the quarterback, but why would teams throw when they can just run the ball? Maybe Dexter Lawrence will save them. Maybe they'll take a guy like Tyleik Williams in the second round as more of a run stopper, defensive tackle. But I just don't see the fit here that everyone else does. I get it. He's a blue chip prospect, but I guess if you're in that situation, you look to trade down, you look to pivot. But I just do not like the fit of Abdul Carter to the Giants. I still think he's a great player, deserving of going in the top 3. My opinion is I don't like that fit. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you there. Hunter just makes so much more sense there. He can play both sides of the ball. And the Giants, they need offensive talent. They got nothing going there right now. Their D-line, they already got good players on there. But like you said, smaller edge rushers are not going to stop the Eagles with all their 330-pound linemen and then Saquon, who squats like 800 pounds or something. It's not going to get it done against a team you play twice a year. And there's a bunch of other teams, like say they play the Ravens this year. How is Abdul Carter going to stop Derrick Henry outside zone? He's not. So Travis Hunter would really be a better pick there. And like you said, take a run stopper in the second and later rounds. It's better to get that than Carter, who still would be an amazing player for them, just not the perfect fit. Going on to my draft order, it's about my team, New Orleans Saints. It's been pretty known now since Derek Carr's little injury, we'll call it. I don't know what's going on with him. He's probably faking it. But it's been known that they're going to take a quarterback. But I don't think it's going to be in the first rounds. I don't think they're that high on Shedeur Sanders. Like you've said many, many times, he's Geno Smith with a famous dad.
Unless he goes to the Steelers. Let's not get it twisted. If he's drafted by the Steelers, he's the next Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, who everything's better.
Yeah, but they're not going to take a quarterback up there, I think. I think they could either trade up with Titans, Browns, Giants, someone in the early second round to go snag Jackson Dart. I think the Giants or the Browns would be the biggest threat for that because they want a quarterback in the second round. So I think they'll trade up with the Titans, give them a haul because you need a quarterback. 34-year-old injured Derek Carr's not going to get it done. But if they don't, I'm perfectly happy. We'll go 0-17 and get Arch Manning unless he stays at Texas for whatever reason. But I think they're going to jump up early second round. No quarterbacks in the first. Focus on someone else and then get Jackson Dart there. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the idea of the trade up, and I think Tennessee's a good fit, especially if a QB is still on the board that teams want because they already got their guy in the first round. But I also wonder, maybe it's not the early second, maybe it's the late first to get that extra year of team control under the fifth-year option. I think we saw with Lamar Jackson, the Ravens moved up to the end. I think the Panthers moved 1 pick 2 years ago to take Xavier Legette to get that fifth team control year. So I wonder if the Saints, I think the trade-up concept is very good. I think that is very likely. I just wonder maybe it's even a late first instead of an early second, but I think that's good.
Yeah.
Now, I think here's my hottest take. I don't know how much I believe this, but I want to believe it. My take is that Jalen Milroe, if put in the correct situation, right? If put in the correct situation, that's a big disclaimer, will be the best QB in this draft. All right. When I look at a guy like Jalen Milroe, the potential is insane. Yeah, he's got a cannon of an arm. He's got Lamar Jackson's speed. He's the type of QB you can win a Super Bowl with if he pans out, right? There's a great chance that he sucks. And that's what this
is Anthony Richardson 2.0.
And that's where the situation comes in. If he goes to a situation like Richardson did when he went to the Colts, he's going to be terrible. But if Jalen Milroe ends up on the Steelers where he's thrown to Pickens, no. This isn't even blasphemous. If he's throwing to George Pickens, DK Metcalf, and he's got Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator with a good young O-line coming up and Pat Freiermuth, I like that. I don't even hate that. Not first round.
No.
But I think my take on QBs is you're never going to win with an average QB. And Shedeur Sanders, he has no athletic. I mean, he doesn't have great athletic upside. He doesn't have great arm strength. He's just a game manager essentially. And you look at the past Super Bowl winners. You got the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is a great athlete, a little bit of a game manager, but that's an exception because the Eagles have like the best roster of all time. But Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's a freak athlete. Matthew Stafford has an above-average arm. And then Tom Brady's Tom Brady.
Cannon.
Yeah, Mahomes again, then Tom Brady, and then Nick Foles. That's an exception. But I think you're never going to win the Super Bowl with a guy like Shedeur Sanders. You'll be in the playoffs, but you're going to be a first-round exit like the Steelers know. I think Jalen Milroe has the opportunity to be a guy who can turn you into a dynasty. That being said, if he goes to the wrong situation, he is going to stink it up because he doesn't have the tools. But if he sits behind someone for a year, watch out. Holy yap.
It's a bold take, but I like it. I mean, Milroe got that athletic upside. Like you said, wrong situation, he's going to be absolutely trash, probably out of the league in 5 years. But if he goes to the Steelers, I guess, then the next Tom Brady. But on to my career one, we're going back to Travis Hunter. He's still going to be an amazing player, but I think his ego is going to limit him a little bit in the NFL. He's come out and said in interviews, he said something really stupid, like, I'm quitting football if I can't play both sides. That's not what you want to say when you're projected to be a top 3 pick. It's that Colorado media kicking in right there. But I feel like he's an incredible player, generational talent that's somehow trying to prove he's generational, which is kind of weird. But I feel like the wrong things said and the wrong actions he'll probably take throughout his NFL career, wanting more money, demanding to play both sides of the ball, will limit him a little bit. Maybe he'll get less money. Maybe he'll get traded for some like Antonio Brown situation or something. But it's a really weird take, but I just feel like his ego is going to limit him. Do you get what I'm saying there?
I don't know how I feel about this. I think this is too nitpicky. We've seen guys with big egos come into the draft, and I think the talent there is undeniable. I don't think it's really going to affect him too much. I mean, maybe
I know it's not going to affect him that much. Just I feel like it will have some effect throughout his career.
I also think he's a good dude. I think Shedeur and Travis Hunter are overhated by the media. I mean, when have you ever seen something bad about them? They're like humble. Just they're put in the spotlight
Travis
too
Hunter's
much.
girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. He sits outside at the party because he's a humble young fella. I think he's not as bad of a person as we think. So I don't know how I feel about this one, but
It's
definitely
an interesting take. But I got to keep it out there. I can't do something basic like Sanders will be good.
Yes, Shedeur Sanders will win 9 straight Super Bowls only if he's drafted by the Steelers. I don't even think that's ridiculous to say that. I think that's pretty realistic.
Not at all.
No, but I want to go back to that Jalen Milroe take. I'm not saying specifically the Steelers, but there's not many good QB landing spots this cycle except for the Steelers. I mean, you look at the other teams like the Browns, the Giants, the Saints. None of those teams has as good of a receiving core and as stable of coaching and as good of a defense as the Steelers do. So I think the Steelers are the best position for a QB. Maybe the Rams, but like I don't know if they're looking for a QB yet with Stafford getting older. I think
maybe later rounds.
I think if any QB was coached under McVay, he'd have success, obviously, kind of like J.J. McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell, I think, this upcoming season. But, I think the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, so that's
all right. I got another little career take I came up here just because the Travis Hunter one was a little ridiculous there, but we've said this in prior episodes, but I think Will Campbell will be a top 5 offensive tackle this season, no matter what team he goes to. The absolute goat. Will Campbell, LSU. He's a leader. He's a Southern boy, humble boy. He's got little T-Rex arms, but who cares? He's going to be elite. He's a nice guy. He's just going to be an amazing offensive tackle. I'll see him. He's going to make the Pro Bowl. He's probably going to be an All-Pro first year. He's going to be incredible. First ballot Hall of Famer, mark my words.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing this stuff about short arms. When has it ever actually mattered in the league when you got – that's small hands. Also, Kenny Pickett's still an elite quarterback, all right? He's winning winner. MVP this year. What?
Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, Super Bowl winner. I mean, come on. He took the kneel down to win the Super Bowl. We're getting off topic. The short arms do not matter that much. His arms are short by like half an inch, and then like the threshold. Who cares? I don't. This is the same thing we heard about Aiden Hutchinson that caused him to drop to 2, and the Jags to take Trayvon Walker. And how has that turned out? Aiden Hutchinson's elite. I mean, I know he got injured, but he was leading the league in sacks and was a clear Defensive Player of the Year favorite. And then he got injured. Trayvon Walker has a good PFF pass rush win rate. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, I guess. No, but I think Will Campbell is going to be a dog. I think he's better than Armand Membu from Mizzou. I think, yeah, there you go. I think Will Campbell is going to be elite, and I agree with that take.
All right, well, that's all we got for our takes here. NFL draft's coming up on Thursday. Hopefully on Friday I can get out some footage from that since I'm going, but we'll see. It's going to be pretty busy there. I don't know if Green Bay is going to be able to manage 700,000 people, but
yeah, that's going to be crazy.
We'll see how they do. Packer faithful will show out. But you got any last words?
Yeah, just want to kind of, let everyone know that we'll probably do another episode this weekend about draft reactions, and he's going to be there, obviously, as we've talked about. So we'll get some in-person interviews, see fans who they're ready to take, who they want to see their team take.
Steelers fans. We'll see if they're as delusional as you.
There we go. They'll be there. They're the best fan base in the league. But yeah, that's all I've got based on draft takes. So
yeah, thank you guys for watching episode 22. Probably be here on the weekend recapping the first round and then my video, which won't be live. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you then.